Welcome to houghton Construction's Health and Safety Induction video for Living Space Housing, Bedford Road, Houghton, Regis. Please watch the following video carefully, as you may be asked questions regarding the topics shown before being allowed on site. houghton Construction's Health, Safety and Environmental Policy. At houghton, we are committed to protecting the health and safety of all people working at or visiting the site. We plan, manage, conduct and supervise all our work in compliance with legislation and best practice. We want to ensure that all workers have a clear understanding of their responsibilities, along with that of the company. You have probably gone through hundreds of site inductions and will probably go through hundreds more. The induction is important as all sites are different and have a wide range of hazards that will change as the site develops. This site induction is specific to this site and provides you with information on the current hazards of the site, and tells you about the site rules. Please pay attention for the next few minutes. Living Space Housing has received planning approval from Central Bedfordshire Council for 57 eco-efficient affordable homes on a 4.45-acre site off Bedford Road. Located under a mile from Houghton Regis Town Centre, all the homes will be delivered to housing provider Stonewater to help meet local demand for affordable rent and shared ownership homes. Designed by Bristol-based Pad Design Limited, Living Space's approved plan features a mix of 1, 2, 3, and 4-bedroom homes to suit single households and families of up to 6 people. The site lies within the Houghton Regis North Strategic Allocation and is part of a major urban extension. What to do if you discover a fire in your workplace? By nature, fire is very unpredictable, and you never know exactly when a fire might break out. You can, however, take steps to ensure that you know what to do. So if the worst happens, you'll be ready to act. In the following information, we'll give you some useful advice and information to make sure you are best prepared to handle the situation if a fire breaks out in your workplace. Of course, different working environments will have different fire threats and specific safety procedures associated with them, so you should always read your workplace's fire safety policy carefully. You should also familiarize yourself with fire escape routes, assembly points, where fire equipment is located, and how to use it. The following tips are general guidelines outlining what you should do if you discover a fire. Please listen to the following tips so that you'll feel calm and be best prepared to take action. The first thing to remember is to stay calm and think logically about what you need to do. This is critical to your safety and that of those around you. Panicking will only worsen the situation. You need to raise the alarm. Do this by alerting people in the immediate area and activate the fire alarm from the nearest fire alarm call point, and/or by shouting "Fire, fire." Next, dial the fire service immediately if you can, or if you can't get someone else to do it. Time is critical when dealing with fire, so you must act fast. If there is any equipment that could cause major safety issues if left running during a fire, shut this down if it is safe to do so. If not, you should notify the fire service straight away on their arrival. You may be able to extinguish small fires if you have the correct firefighting equipment on site and located nearby. Only do this if you know what you are doing and you have a safe escape route. Use common sense. If it's not safe, make sure you get out and stay out. Before you attempt to fight the fire, it is very important to check that the type of fire extinguisher you plan to use is suitable for use on the fire. There should be guidelines to help you with the extinguisher itself and signage placed around the area it is stored. Use caution. If you don't know how to use a fire extinguisher safely, then it's probably best not to. When using, remember to stand back. Fire extinguishers should be used at a safe distance of around 8 to 12 feet away from the fire. If you've used up a whole fire extinguisher and the flames are still not out, then the fire is too big for you to put out safely and you must leave the area immediately. Make your way to your nearest designated fire assembly point. Don't be a hero. The fire service is specially trained and have the appropriate equipment to rescue people. If you fail to take notice of this point, you may actually put your own life and others in serious danger. You will only be allowed access to the site if you have evidence of an in-date CPCS qualification or affiliated schemes. Failure to produce this will result in you being denied access to the site. Need to know who's on site at all times. Please ensure you sign in and out of the site. If you do not, we will not know you are here for security and emergency purposes. Failure to sign in and out of site will result in you being asked to leave the site. The welfare facilities are located next to the site car park. The first aid box is located in the site office along with the contact details of the first aider. Please leave toilets and canteens as you would wish to find them. It is important for good housekeeping to prevent slips, trips, and falls and remove material that could fuel fires. A high number of accidents occur on construction sites due to workers tripping over rubbish and failing to ensure a tidy workplace is unsafe and could cause the site to be closed down. All waste should be disposed of in the correct skips. Under no circumstances shall liquid waste, such as paints or solvents, be allowed to soak into the ground or be poured down drains. This is hazardous waste and should be disposed of in line with current legislation. Bonfires shall not be conducted on site. Please take note of these points. No food or drink to be taken on site. You must consume these in the canteen. Basic hygiene must always be followed. You should always wash your hands before eating. Always make sure your food is properly stored and cooked. Carefully dispose of leftovers so as not to attract vermin which may carry Veil's disease. It is very important to report for work in a fit state. It is not only your safety but failure to do so risks people around you who could be affected by what you do. Any person reporting for duty under the influence will be treated very harshly, and that removal from the site is not just a threat. Please refer to HARCMAC's drug and alcohol policy for further information. If you are on medication for a specific medical condition that may impair your performance, please make this known to your manager so that appropriate measures can be put in place. Horseplay on site will not be tolerated and could lead to dismissal and the incident being reported to the police or HSE, as this could be seen as assault. Example. On one site, a worker flicked a lip match at a colleague as a joke. Unfortunately, the man's overalls had inflammable liquid spilled on them and he ended up with serious burns. Please use your common sense. PPE means all equipment, including clothing affording protection against the weather, which is intended to be worn or held by a person at work and which protects them against one or more risks to his or her health or safety. PPE should be regarded as a last resort when considering control measures. Other methods should be considered and used that will reduce or eliminate risk to injury. However, where PPE is the only effective means of controlling the risks of injury or ill health, then employers must ensure that PPE is available. Employers must assess the work being undertaken and the environment his or her employees will operate in when determining the appropriate PPE to be worn. Example, this site requires workers to wear a hard hat, safety footwear, gloves, and high-visibility vest at all times while working on site. These must be provided free of any charge to the employee. Main contractors must check that all subcontractors are conforming by providing PPE for all their employees, those who are self-employed for tax reasons, but who otherwise work in an employee-employer relationship are also entitled to receive PPE, free of charge. Risk assessments must also highlight any additional PPE requirement from the above example depending on the particular hazard so that appropriate PPE is issued. This also must be provided free of charge. You should be aware of your responsibility to wear the PPE appropriately, take care of equipment and report any defects. If you do not wear or misuse any PPE that has been appropriately issued, that this could lead to disciplinary action. This equipment is provided for your protection. You will only be allowed to use plant and equipment where trained and authorized to do so. Manual handling injuries cause more lost time at work than any other single work-related cause. These are normally back injuries but also include muscle strains and sprains, hand and foot injuries. There are a number of mechanical aids available to reduce the amount of manual handling on site. These should be used wherever practicable. When handling blocks weighing more than 20 kg and bagged products of more than 25 kg, you should mechanically lift. No person should attempt to lift any object that you are not comfortable with. Loads that are bulky, heavy, unwieldy, or are to be carried over a long distance require an assessment to be carried out and precautions put in place to minimize the risk of injuries. Where possible, larger loads should be broken down into smaller loads and/or team lifting should be considered, but with caution. Please be aware of the requirement that only trained, certificated and authorized personnel will be permitted to operate driver-operated plant. This may include but not be limited to dumper trucks, cherry pickers, scissor platforms, excavators, road rollers, etc. All plant operators will be required to produce evidence of their training before being given authorization to operate any given item of plant. This may include the production of a CPCS on-pause card or suitable equivalent. Avoid reversing on site or use trained banksmen and ensure that loads are properly slung and secured. You must never take passengers. Ensure that seatbelts are used properly and at all times. Keep to designated pedestrian routes on the site plan displayed on the HMAC safety board. Be aware of vehicles turning or slewing. Check the traffic management plan, as this will explain the movement of plant and pedestrian walkways and will be updated regularly. Parking is only allowed in designated areas on site in order to keep site roads clear for construction plant and emergency vehicles. If you can't see the operator, he can't see you. So make sure you use the thumbs up procedure to get the all clear. It is a legal requirement to report all accidents irrespective of how trivial they may seem at the time. Accident reporting is necessary to ensure that a proper investigation is undertaken so that lessons can be learned to prevent a recurrence. All accidents, no matter how small, need to be reported and recorded in the accident book located in the site office. Certain accidents are reportable to the enforcing authorities. These include most fractures and accidents where a person has more than 3 days off work. Failure to report an accident correctly may result in disciplinary action and could jeopardize your chances of a compensation claim at a later date. Please feel free to ask any questions you may have to the site manager before you sign your induction form. Thank you for your time and cooperation.